everyone, we Group 6 representing you the compare and contrast of mass media between Russia and the United States. Here is our content. We are going to know the general background of mass media, second, the comparison and contrasting of mass media between both countries, and lastly, the summary and recommendation from our team. Whenever you want to see photos of your favorite idol, listening to music, watching drama, what did you do? Of course, you might check your phone, open computers, or turn on television. So all of the sources of information or news that you get from are considered as mass media. So what does it really mean by saying mass media? Mass media means technology that is intended to reach a mass audience. It is primary means of communication used to reach the vast majority of general public. The most common platform for mass media are newspapers, magazines, radio, television, and the internet. The general public typically rely on mass media to provide information regarding political issues, social issues, entertainment, and news in pop culture. Through mass media, news outlets have a major influence on general public and a major impact on the public opinion on central topic. Therefore, mass media can influence politics as well.
In this video objective, we will focus on understanding the media environment between these two countries, understanding the media ownership, neutrality, and the freedom of information between Russia and the US. We will also answer two questions: who owns the media, how neutral of media workers, and the freedom of information. What are the opportunities and challenges of digital media and e-politics to democracy?
Mass media have given us opportunity in keeping connected, spreading art and cultures, and giving voice to the voiceless. However, reporters or journalists of mass media bring us to another situation that allowing our thought to go viral. It is either empower the powerful less or used to disinformation and hate. In Russia, the weaknesses of judiciary increase the mass media far beyond reasonable norm and limit the media influence on politics and election. The democracy nation is allowing people to elect their favorable government. But if the press have unlimited opportunity to exert influence on the government in between the election, the whole democracy system would be seamless. So what is sake of winning an election if the mass public can use media to influence on politics and publicly unfavorable things of government the next day? Therefore, to prevent the possibility of coup and to prevent the election government, the freedom of action, the political system and society reach a natural agreement which is government can ignore the opinions of mass media and using democratic procedures and being guided by the principles of political correctness, common sense and national interest, the government can also influence the media and even govern society through the media including so-called free speech. The U.S. mass media have traveled a long road since the first newspaper was published in the Boston in 1690s. It played a vital role as a guardian of U.S. democracy. In the USA, the main type of mass media today are newspapers, magazines, radio, television, and internet. Therefore, the most top 10 websites such as CNN, Google News, New York Times, Fox News, USA Today, and Washington Post. The ownership between both countries is different. In Russia, the freedom of press is in privatization of regional and local media. However, in US, everyone can control the media, the government, opposition party, individual, locals, and international groups. So let's go and watching for detailed information of this country, mass media.
Mass media in the US and Russia are similar in form of media outlets that can reach a large audience including broadcasting media, having films, radio, or television.
They have digital media comprises internet and mobile mass communication, and also have variety of media such as outdoor media or print media like books, magazines, or newspapers. The organizations that control these technologies, such as publishing companies, radio and television stations, are also known as the mass media, which are operated by both state-owned and for-profit corporations. In contrast, the differences of mass media between both countries can be seen through the ownership of media, neutrality, and the freedom of information. The media outlets in Russia are either owned by government or private companies that are close to the government. Television is the most powerful sector of the media industry and the main news source for most Russians. The government controls Channel 1 and Russia 1, which are the leading channels. News and current affairs shows on mainstream TV are also dominated by the pro-Kremlin messages and denigration of the West. Moreover, there are more than 3,000 licensed radio stations and 22 newspapers that can be described as national titles. The most popular papers are pro-Kremlin, and several influential dailies are owned by companies that have close links to the Kremlin. Therefore, it is impossible to measure the neutrality of Russian media. Politically sensitive issues and criticism of the regime are increasingly being permitted to be articulated within the lesser-watched domestic soft nuisance, such as the range of interviews and debates broadcast during Russia's recent presidential election campaign. Moreover, conspiracy is king, meaning that global media consumers show great interest in disruptive and dramatic events and in topics that generate significant public concern, such as migration and terrorism. Just as a rumor about Russia media manipulation, the media is restricted, which most media were not truly independent, and most power segments of media like radio and TV remain under state control. Newspapers also under pressure from the Kremlin to provide a pro-government slant or not to cover subjects about government dislike. For instance, some people risk their life by opposing government like Alexei Navalny, who mentioned about running for Moscow mayor, got arrested in 2012. Boris Nemtsov was a former deputy prime minister under Yeltsin, criticized Putin, was assassinated near the Kremlin in 2015. So, since 1992, there were more than 50 journalists have been killed in Russia, and Russia ranked 148 out of 180 to be a press freedom countries. With the exception of one domestic broadcasting network, the U.S. news media are privately owned and operated. Even the U.S. is a father of democracy, yet the bias in media is still occur when the media outlets skew information, such as reporting or promoting a political agenda through entertainment media. Moreover, there is also bias in reporting to favor the corporate owners and a tendency to focus on certain hot stories and ignore news of more substance. However, freedom of the press in the United States is legally protected by the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. So, between Russia and the US, mass media is clearly follow what you all expect to know. Russia is stricter and limit the freedom of information, while in the US it's more free, but it also led to the spread of fake and biased news. Digital media, popularly called new media, is the lovebird of our contemporary world. Some of the popular media used in the world today are either print or electronic form. It has provided both opportunities and challenges. For the opportunity, digital news transformation is more major priority for business in Russia. Broader than just digitalization, digital transformation is a customer-driven, strategic business evolution. 3/4 of the senior executive survey for this report said that digital transformation was either important or a top priority for their company in Russia. Therefore, they can use digital mass media to extend their business, but may be a bad result for politics. Despite this fact, the media is still under control of state either online or offline. On contrary, the digital news can be so challenging because first, companies in Russia are mostly still in the early stages of digital transformation. For instance, firms in Russia face challenges in undertaking digital transformation, insufficient allocation of resources, and lack of knowledge and understanding of what digital transformation involves. However, when we look to the US, mass media is either tradition or new technology. They are still free for people to spread the information. The opportunity of digital media in the US can be made people better informed, information, and good for politicians to promote their campaign and regulation. At the same time, it is also easier to manipulate and spread fake news. When we asked about the impact of mobile phones, the internet, and social media on various political behaviors and attitudes, people in these nations tend to express seemingly dual views of how technology has brought more to society, that it has made people more informed, yet more manipulatable, more divided, yet sometimes more accepting of others. The US is a full democracy, while Russia is mixed with authoritarian and democracy. E-politics supports the extension of political democratization to economic and financial globalization. It is based upon an idea that free international transactions benefit the global society as a whole. They believe in financially open economies where the government and central bank must be transparent in order to retain the confidence of the markets. Furthermore, an authoritarian government agrees to a global regime to gain benefits of the economic but is forced to accept the political consequences. Therefore, e-politics or globalization is more likely to extend and strengthen the diplomatic relations in order to sustain the economies, rather than promote the political democratization. As the more freedom people have, it can severely affect to government policies.
To sum up, mass media in the US and Russia are similar in form of media outlet, including broadcasting, digital media, outdoor media, and print media. They are either owned by state or private company. On the other hand, the differences of the mass media in both states can be seen through the ownership of media, neutrality, as well as the freedom of information. Mass media play an important role in forming and reflecting public opinion, connecting the world to individuals, and reproducing the self-image of society. Moreover, we cannot judge that which mass media is better because the US and Russia adopted different types of political system, so that the function of the mass media and the way they organize in the system must be different and benefit differently. However, in our own perspective, we strongly believe that media freedom is important because media is the middle ground between the public and the government. This was seen in the Arab Spring uprising in 2011 throughout the Middle East and Northern Africa, where citizens demanded more democratic governance and used social media as a major platform.
The internet gives a voice to those that are silent and has become the stage for social change.